Hey guys, I'm about to go on a trip to Moonshine. It's gonna be 35 degrees tonight at Moonshine. It's gonna be cold. I'm starting late, so most of the footage is gonna be on the ride back tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny again, but I want to get there before it's dark, and it's already 1 o'clock. I am way behind. I tried to talk myself out of doing this, but you know what? I want to get out. I want to have some fun, and I want to create some content. This is the setup, as always. The beast. We got the Burley here, the coho. I got a little bag on the back. This is where I keep my my like tools and lube, and I got some flat stuff in there. Smaller things I could do for a quick flat change, you know. I got just some basic tools. I got some gas there for my stove, even though I'm using my Pocket Rocket Deluxe this weekend, so we're not gonna need that. But just in case, like I'm bringing that just in case I decide to wild camp. We'll see if I find a wild camping spot. That's gonna be my goal here in the next few weeks, is to find some cool wild camping spots. So I don't always have to spend $60 just to go camping, you know? Just to have some firewood and a camp spot. I don't need a shower every dang time, and I got 2 batteries, so I don't need a charger unit. So I gotta find some spot. But anyway, we got the Diamondback here. 4 leaves. We got the dry bags. Thing seems to be standing on its own here. We got the Bosch motor. Maybe if I remember today, if I get there and there's still daylight and I still have time, I'll do a gear breakdown. I know one of these days I'm going to do a gear breakdown. I'm going to show you what I got here. All right, I'm going to get on the road here and get going, because I still got to stop at a few places here before we get on the main road. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Luckily, this is the Yakina Bay Road, and we've already done this one on previous videos. So we'll do this on time-lapse, and we'll also do the Siletz Highway 229 on time-lapse.
All right, here's a 229. This is the worst part of the ride right here. Still at 64% of the battery life. I'm actually at like 95% eco mode, which is really good for being full loaded. And I rode into a headwind most of the way on the Bay Road. But I've been working out and I'm backpacking. I've been riding every week regardless. I was trying not to die out here. Luckily I got 3 lights in the back here, so people can see me from really far back. Let's hope they respect that. We'll find out though. I think it's about an 8-mile stretch here. That person was nice. Great, the sun is definitely down on this side. It's a cold ride. This is why I really should have started probably like 3 hours earlier. I'm basically gonna have to get to camp and set my tent right up. Let's just hope everybody drives smart. There's no need to test going against traffic. You know, some people give me too much space and they get dangerous with it. And I got a rear view so I can see most of the time. I'm usually pretty good. They're giving people no space, so they don't have to put themselves in a dangerous situation. Some people just refuse to slow down. And there's always that. Some people wouldn't slow down for 5 seconds. Just to make it safe for everybody. So, you know, Part of the dangers of road riding. And really, the thing that made me not want to do this ride today was this part. I tried to talk myself out of it so many times. And now it's 3 o'clock and I'm riding into a setting sun. Ooh, it is cold, cold right here. I love cruising. So this is a cool little place. Bet you this bridge gets dangerous when it freezes. Bridges always get dangerous. Black ice. It's not supposed to freeze tonight, but it's probably gonna get cold. I can't feel my thumb. I can't feel my thumb. All right, I'm sure you can't see me. Everything's probably all steamed up here. As you can see, I got my tent set up here. I had to quickly set up my tent because it's dark here. It got dark like right away. I got pulled in right when it was dark. I still haven't gone up to pay and get firewood yet. But I got the tent set up, at least, and got the sleeping pad and everything all set up in there. I got some stuff here. Got my other stuff there. Obviously, we're going to be doing a pretty quick night here. I'm going to probably just only get a bundle or two of wood, put my battery on the charger, and come down here and cook some dinner and whatnot. But when I get a fire going here, I will start recording again, all right?
This is the part where I was going to talk about my sleeping bag and my sleeping pad. I got a really good setup there, and tell you that it took me an hour and a half to warm up because I had sweat so much, and you know, it was just my clothes were wet and it was freezing cold, and I just got into my bag and I should have put dry clothes on, but I didn't. I just got to remember not to press and hold the record button now that I know it.
Last night, the story pretty much went. You guys saw me when I got into the tent, and after that, I went to sleep, and I woke up this morning and just left as early as I could. Didn't even film. It was freezing cold. Everything was frozen over. I mean, it was frozen. It had to hit 32. I mean, it was frozen. My water and my bottles were just completely frozen. It was cold. It was very cold. But I figured I'd show you guys my gear, what I use for my gear here. This is pretty much the gear you see on my bike. I have two bigger panniers like this. They're bigger ones though. They're the back rollers, and I put a few things in them. I don't put a lot, but I basically put the loose stuff from here and there, and then most of it goes into the big dry bag you see on the trailer. So I figured I'd show you a few things. Obviously, you can see my Helinox table there. I got my Helinox chair. All the things that go into my. Let's see if I could do this here. All the things that go into the dry bag usually are those two things. I got my GoPro case right here that usually goes in there. I got my little DJI Mini SE drone, the two. That goes into the dry bag. you know, and I didn't get to use it on this one because I was just too tired on the way back. I didn't even eat dinner last night because it was just too cold. I think I made a bad mistake. I shouldn't have left. Everything was telling me you probably shouldn't do this, but I was like, I'll push through it. Well, anyway, keep going. All right, so this is all going into the dry bag, and usually I put this as my solar panel, the solar jack, like 160 watt or something like that. It's a decent one. It charges quick. And then this will go in here. This is my power brick that I put in there. It's a little Anchor 60,000 mile power brick. That thing has been great. This Anchor power brick, absolutely great. This thing is awesome. I don't take it backpacking, but for bike touring, this thing is great. There's a little light right here. There's a little light that goes on. See, I had that thing on charging my tablet all night while it was playing movies and. Well, I was playing movies and like a whole season of Family Guy, but anyway, this little light right here is great for just at the like on the picnic bench or in your tent. In your tent, it's awesome. So that's the power brick. Usually these miscellaneous bags I'll throw in there too. These are dry bags that have power cords, and there's a tarp in there too. If I ever, whatever I get to sit in a tarp up, but it's gonna happen. Most of this is power stuff. And some lights for my GoPro and other GoPro stuff. That always goes into my bag, into the dry bag. Obviously, this usually goes onto the bike, but I took it off the bike. This is my GoPro boom arm. Oh, look at Karen's Crunch. I want to show you guys that. Remember? That was the one positive, is that on the way back, it was probably like 35 degrees, but I stopped there, and luckily they had Karen's Crunch, and I was able to snatch one up. They're only $4 at the Sleds Marketplace. It's pretty nice. I was happy. At least I got that. This right here is my little kitchen. Getting different silverware, because this set right here is kind of cool, but it's kind of heavy, and it takes up a lot of space. So I got some different ones coming, some lighter ones. As you can see, I keep food in here. I brought stuff for s'mores and stuff last night, but I didn't make it because I couldn't even make a fire. Dish soap. This is basically my kitchen. That goes into the dry bag as well. What's Gulliver doing? Gulliver. All right. And so, usually on top of the dry bag, I'll throw this. This is my tent, my footprint, which we're gonna break out in a second because it got all messed up. I'll dry it out. And here is my sleeping system that I put onto the back rack across my 2 rear panniers. And these ones, I try to keep them kind of light. I got my turtle. He was great last night. I put the turtle between my legs, and it made it so my hips would stop hurting. For some reason, they were hurting. They didn't start out hurting, but they ended up hurting pretty good. And once they start aching like that, it sucks. All right, anyway. I have my Charge 5 in there. Got my thing for hot beverages that I didn't make last night because I was too tired. I got a cup in there. I got like a 32-ounce titanium thing in this totes. There's a cup, a container, a boiler pot, and the deluxe pocket rocket in there. So basically I got some food and stuff in there. Here I keep like clothes. Those are extra gloves and things in there. Those came in handy, believe me. My hygiene kit. My cat, he doesn't ever want to go. Gully, you never want to come with me. Meow. And I think I had some extra clothes in there, which were no more appropriate for the situation I was in. Should have brought some warmer clothes. Gully boy. He's like, let me smell all this. Okay, look at it. I guess that's what he's doing. The sniffer. He's got to figure it out. There you go. Get in there, boy. Yeah, Gully. Oh, Gully. Meow. I wish I could take Gulliver. Man, if I had Gulliver last night, that would have been the best. And we could have cuddled underneath that. He probably would have popped my sleeping pad, though. If I get Gulliver, I got to think of something to make it so he doesn't ever get on my sleeping pad. That turtle, though, I've taken him on every adventure I've ever been on. He definitely helped last night. So in the bag here, I got this is my sheet, the Synergy sheet. I love this thing. Makes it so it's just so comfortable to use your sleeping bag as a quilt. And mine is set up to be a quilt and a sleeping bag. And then I got the Nemo Pillow pillow. This thing is great. It's got like a nice, it doesn't get cold because it has this nice little, I don't know, soft material. I don't know what it is, fleece or something. But it doesn't get cold. Even with air, it doesn't get cold. It works great. The trick for that is to not pump it up big, just to pump it up a little bit, you know, just till it forms pretty good. And it's just so soft. You can, if you don't lay it flat, you just lean it up on its side. It's perfect for a side sleeper. It's perfect for me. That is all I need. I used to have to use the two. Now I just need that. I don't need my turtle now. He can go in between my legs. I got my hatchet, which I didn't get to use. It's the something I can't say, but it's a nice hatchet. It works great. It splits wood like crazy. I got the Neo X-Therm mat right here. This thing is great. I gotta get better at putting it in a stuff sack or something. Just the stuff sack sucks for it. Might just get a dry bag. I got my knife with my ferrule, my starter rod right here. It's nice, a sharp knife. My silky little buzzsaw there. Honestly, if it was lighter last night, I probably would have just gone down to the river area and started chopping down dead wood. And then my bag. This is my sleeping bag. See the sun. This thing is great. Let's see if there's some moisture on it though. I should break this thing out as quick as possible. Am I missing it here? Yeah. This thing's awesome, man. I did notice a little bit. I mean, it was ever so slightly starting to get some moisture on the foot box, but it looks like it went away. Like I said, this thing right here has two zippers, right? See the zipper? It comes down to right here. And so it keeps this part right here all closed if you want it. You even has little things to make as a quilt, I guess, if you had some kind of pad or something. I don't know how I'd have to look up what goes with it. But this, I always unlock this right away and put it back into its storage bag. Because that bag was way too expensive not to treat it nice. And with down, you want to let it breathe whenever possible. So when you need it compressed and you got to store, compress it and store it. But when you get to where you're going, it's one of the first things you bust out. That way, when you get to your bag, it's all nice and fluffy. Even though you just see me pull it out of the bag and it held its lock pretty good. This thing's so comfortable too. Oh my God, and the heat, it just gives back to you. Wild. I mean, it was cold in my tent last night. It was freezing cold. The whole inside of my rainfly had, it was definitely better than the other tent. It didn't have like a thick layer of moisture. You can tell moisture isn't getting through the rainfly. It was probably just that my breath condensation had frosted over, but it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like a whole lot. On the other tent, the Marmot Limelight, when we went camping the last time with that last video, that thing was caked. It was almost like the moisture had to just be getting right through the fly. All right. Now I'll show you what we do here, because gotta do this, you know what I'm saying? I like to try to take care of my stuff. So the first thing we're gonna do now, you can see it's wet. This thing was wet from the floor and it's probably had frost on it. Not too much frost, but under the vestibules it was definitely frost. I wonder where I was laying there was no frost, but inside the big vestibule, which is a big one. It's a big one. That's what I love about this tent. As I got to where I was going, and I was tired, and I didn't really want to bust out all my stuff out of my bag, and I didn't have to. I got the tent set up, I got the sleeping mat and the sleeping pad set up, and I got the table out, set it up, and put it up in the tent, and I took everything else and I shoved it right into the big hotel part of that Big Angus tent. Kind of have a negative experience with Big Angus, but the tent itself is, I would say that my only thing I don't like about the tent is it takes a second to get used to setting it up. The vestibule and everything, because that vestibule has to be set up just right. It definitely doesn't set up faster than the Marmot. That Marmot sets up super fast. But this thing has a ton of room. And it's the same weight as a Marmot. I don't know how they do it. This is a bigger tent. It's the same weight as a Marmot. But there's just no comparison. Uh-oh. I dropped you guys. There's just no comparison. Marmot's upside. Well, the Marmot, when the rainfly was good, was a great tent. It set up really fast. It broke down really fast. It never got me wet. But it's 11 years old now, and I didn't use it for probably 8 years. And now all the water stuff cracked, and I've been trying to clean it, but I think it's just done. Good summer tent still, though. Honestly, I think the next trip I'm gonna try with the Durston I have, and see if just having a, you know, the thing that's nice about this tent is that everything fits into the vestibule just fine, with a lot of room to still get in and out of it, and that way all your stuff stays dry. Like my bags weren't frosted over. It could be pouring rain out. It's a comfortable tent. Kind of hard to stuff when your hands are like bricks. Your feet are cold. I don't even know why I taped that campsite last night. Look at the rain fly. It definitely needs to dry out. The tent body itself is probably only moist than this thing. It looks pretty dry. But the whole inside of this fly, look at, there's still something here, look at. That's how cold the ride back was. If your question, if you want, but look at, see that? The whole inside of the rainfly had that, with just a thin layer of that. Last time when I went camping in the Marmot, there was a very thick layer of that. I mean, I took it off and it just was coming, and it wasn't as cold as it was last night. Last night is probably the coldest I've ever camped. Luckily, I slept fine. Didn't have a fire, but it's good to know that my sleeping system is good in some pretty cold weather, just to, if I have to just hunker down. I think the main problem with what I did last night was I was trying to get to the campsite, and I was riding hard. I was sweating a lot, so like all my Under Armour gear got sweaty. So I think next time what I'll do is I'll bring my warm gear to ride in, the other Under Armour I got, and then have a dry set ready to go when I get to where I'm going. That way I could, even if I can't take a shower, just throw that on real quick. Because I bet you anything, because I didn't start getting warm until I was in the sleeping bag for a good half an hour. And finally I stopped shivering, because I was like shivering. I'm sure it's because I was moist. I was all just wet and sweat. And then I rushed to set this thing up. You can see there's still ice everywhere. Not everywhere, but a little bit. That's how freaking cold this thing is. And how cold it was last night. In the tent body. Alright. Well, there it is. The breakdown. I mean, obviously I got a few more things in the bag down there. I got my tool set. I have like basically a tool set built that I put together for it, that so I can do change spokes, change, you know, pretty much anything. I can bleed the brakes, pretty much anything that I could do here in the shop I can do there. You know, true the wheel, whatever I need to do. But the downside to that is it probably weighs 10-15 pounds. Probably weighs 10 pounds. It's heavy. Then I got an extra battery that I stick in the dry bag, and I bring a hammer with me, but I'm probably gonna start bringing the hammer. Then obviously I bring my charger with me, and I keep all that in the dry bag. And I got that little. There goes Gulliver here. He's like, "What's going on over here, man?" He's gonna make sure don't be putting holes in my stuff, Gulliver. Hey, give me that money you owe me. He's never gonna pay me back. Well, anyway, it was a fun trip. You know, it was a fun trip that I got since I got the Karen's Crunch. You know, it was an interesting ride. It was frozen most of the ride there. Is Gulliver just sitting on my tent? He is. He's such a nerd. Gulliver, get off my tent. And then, yeah. It's frozen on the way back. I tell you what, those roads were frosty. I was like, God, I hope I don't slip. It's gonna hurt if I hit the concrete. The worst part of all this is riding with traffic. You know, the 229, it sucks to ride on, especially on a Monday when the sun is like in your eyes, and so that means it's in the driver's eyes. And, you know, you got your lights blinking, but you hope they see you. There's not a lot of shoulder, and everybody's going like 60, 70 miles an hour. But yeah, I had fun for the most part. I'm glad I went on the adventure. I mean, I probably should have just stayed. Next week, I'm going to try to go, well, backpacking. Hopefully I can go backpacking. Let's see if Peter wants to go and do an overnight at Cummins Creek. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And I think another thing I'm going to start doing is backpacking back behind town here. Just, you know, 3 or 4 miles back behind town down the Reservoir Road there, and just try to find camp spots. I think I'm going to go scout, and then I'm going to try to find some camp spots. Go out there and scout with the drone, and then find a wild camp spot. Because I don't want to pay for wood. I don't want to pay for campsites. You know, I don't mind doing that, but it gets expensive after a while. Now, last night, I don't even know why I paid for the campsite. I paid $25 for a campsite for, you know, I didn't use a shower. I would have had to pay for that anyway because it's a quarter shower. Couldn't get any wood. Basically just paying $25 to slap my tent on the grass there. Kind of sucked, to tell you the truth. Could have did that anywhere for free. But I think, yeah, I think we're going to start doing some more wild camping. It's not always going to be in paid for campsites. I'd rather do some more wild camping anyway. That's why I got the backpack. But anyway, I am going to end this video, and I got some hot cocoa with some coffee in it made, and I'm just going to relax and finish putting my stuff up and go home and get ready for work tomorrow. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I haven't showered since yesterday.